Welcome to Aurora's Committee of Adjustment meeting. The time is 7:02 p.m. on Thursday, April the 10th. I would like to call this Committee of Adjustment meeting to order. I will start by introducing the committee members and staff. I'm the committee chair. My name is Alita Tari, and the remaining members are as follows: Michael Visconti, the vice chair, John Hartman, Claudia Watts, and Marcella Sasdea. The secretary is Peter Fan, and the senior planner is Antonio Greco. The town of Aurora, acknowledges that the Anishinaabe, lands on which we live and work, are the traditional and treaty territory of the Chippewa of Georgina Island, as well as many other nations whose presence here continues to this day. As the closest First Nation community to Aurora, we recognize the special relationship the Chippewas have with the lands and the waters of this territory. They are the water protectors and environmental stewards of these lands, and as a municipality, we join them in these responsibilities. We further acknowledge that Aurora is part of the treaty lands of the Mississaugas and Chippewas, recognized through Treaty Number 13, as well as the Williams Treaties of 1923. A shared understanding of the rich cultural heritage that has existed for centuries and how our collective past brought us to where we are today will help us walk together into a better future. So if I can please get, the first item is the approval of the agenda, and if I could please get a motion for the approval of tonight's agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda as stated on April 10th, 2025.
Thank you. And if I could please get a seconder. Thank you, Claudia.
I second
All
that
in favor?
motion.
If I could just see a raise of hands. Thank you. Carried. And the second item on the agenda is the declaration of interest. If anybody has a pecuniary interest to declare. Seeing none, and if one does come up at any time, please let me know. The next item on the agenda are the past meeting minutes, and if I could please get a mover to adopt the meeting minutes of the last Committee of Adjustment meeting on March 13th, 2025. Thank you, Michael. And if
I move to adopt the meeting.
Thank you. And if I can please get a seconder. Thank you, Marcella. All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much. The public meeting is being audio and video recorded. It is also conducted virtually and through the use of Zoom technology. Your name, address, comments, and any other personal information are being recorded according to the Municipal Act and the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. This will help our town clerk prepare accurate minutes and to create a record that is available to the general public, including on the town's website. Questions about this collection should be directed to the town clerk. Please be advised that the reports being considered tonight are available on the Town of Aurora website and through staff at the town's planning department. Should you wish to receive notification of any of the decisions of tonight's meeting, please complete the appropriate form available through the town staff. Applicants and agents will automatically be notified. For each application that will be considered tonight, the following process will occur. I will briefly outline the purpose of the applications, and then the agent or applicant will then be given an opportunity to make a presentation. It is the applicant's decision whether they wish to speak or let the application proceed on the merits of the information as received. Presentations and deputations are limited to 5 minutes as much as possible. Following any initial comments from the applicant, I will invite members of the public who have an interest in the application to come forward and address the committee. Those members of the public who wish to speak must clearly state their name, address, and must provide this information to the Secretary-Treasurer. Should you wish to obtain a copy of the notice of decision, please complete the appropriate form available through the Secretary-Treasurer. Members of the public are reminded that text comments are not permitted during the meeting and that they will not be noted in any manner at any time. Each individual may speak only once on an issue, and once discussion has commenced in respect of a motion, no further presentations shall be made. If you do require any technical assistance with your presentations, please let me know. If you wish to speak and are currently following this meeting on YouTube feed, you will need to turn that feed off and join the live meeting, as there is a slight lag between the YouTube and the live feed. Please ensure that all of your questions and/or comments are directed through me as the chair, and if relevant, I will request the appropriate person to respond. It should be noted that the applicant will be given the opportunity to respond to any questions and/or comments should the committee feel that is appropriate. So we will begin with the first item on tonight's agenda, which is a minor variance application from Hollage Properties, Inc., 130 Hollage Boulevard. The applicant is requesting relief from the requirements of the town's comprehensive zoning bylaw 6000-17 as amended to permit the operation of a pet service, grooming service for dogs and cats, business within a single retail unit. A site plan and floor plan are also attached as Appendix B to the staff report. The following relief is being requested. Section 24.1.187 of the zoning bylaw does not list pet services as permitted use. The applicant is proposing a pet service use, thereby requesting a variance to permit this. The staff recommendation is that the planning staff have reviewed the application with respect to section 45(1) of the Planning Act as amended, and are of the opinion that the requested variance meets the four tests of the Planning Act. Of the Planning Act for granting the minor variance. Do I have any questions? Oh, sorry. You're the agent, correct?
I am the applicant, correct.
So if I could just please have you state your name, your first and last name, and for the record.
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of committee. My name is Vince Figliomeni, here on behalf of Hollage Properties Incorporated.
Okay, thank you. And now, do you have a presentation for us this evening?
I don't have a presentation, but I would like to speak to the application.
Okay. The other thing, sorry, which I just wanted to take note of is there is one letter, written submission received for this application. And just to confirm, I don't believe there's any other written submissions. Oh, and sorry, Vince, can you also please give us your address as well?
The address for the application is 130 Hollage Boulevard.
I believe it's like your business address at the secretary.
Business address is 600 Applewood Crescent.
Okay, thank you. So sorry, did you say you wanted to say a few words, or did you just want to?
I would like to say a few words.
Okay.
If I may.
Yes.
My name is Vince Figliomeni, as I just said. We are requesting a variance to allow pet services as an additional permitted use on the property, which is currently subject to a site-specific zoning bylaw. The proposed business intends to offer full grooming services for dogs and cats, including bathing, blow drying, teeth and ear cleaning, nail trimming, and haircuts. The proposed use will complement existing businesses in the area and provide a needed service to the community. The existing zoning already permits commercial uses, and pet services is a natural extension of those uses. The business will comply with all zoning provisions, including parking and operational guidelines. The site is well suited for this use due to the existing commercial nature of the site, sufficient parking, and minimal impact to the surrounding uses. Pet services are a common use in similar commercial or mixed-use areas, and the proposal is consistent with modern planning trends that support small businesses and local services. There will be no adverse impacts such as increased traffic, noise, or environmental concerns. In addition, the tenant is proposing to soundproof the unit, use low noise grooming equipment, and limit the hours of operation. The proposed variance aligns with good planning principles and meets the four tests and contributes positively to the community. We have read the staff report and are in agreement with the recommendations made in the report. We have also reviewed the letter of opposition received, and I would like to clarify that the proposed use will not be a pet daycare. It will be a pet grooming service by appointment only with a maximum of 2 pets at any one time. That concludes the presentation. Thank you for your time and consideration. I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Vince, for that. Are there any members of the committee that have questions for Vince? Seeing none. And just to confirm, Peter, there aren't any deputations, right, for this application?
Through you, Madam Chair, there are no public delegations for this application.
Thank you very much. So do I have a motion from any of the committee members regarding this application?
Go on, Michael.
Through you, Madam Chair, I move to approve application file number MV-2025-06. Subject to the subject to the Appendix A conditions of approval.
Okay, and can I get a seconder? Thank you, John. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Thanks, you as well. So now we will move on to the second item, which is Ramos, 196 Crane Street, file MV 2025-07. The owner is requesting relief from the requirements of the town's comprehensive zoning bylaw 6000-17 as amended to permit outdoor swimming lessons as a home occupation on the subject property. The following relief is being requested. Section 3 of the zoning does not permit outdoor swimming lessons as a home occupation. The application is proposing outdoor swimming lessons, and Section 4.6.1 of the zoning bylaw states a home occupation shall be conducted entirely within the dwelling or permitted accessory building. The applicant is proposing an outdoor swimming lesson. And planning staff have reviewed the application regarding section 45(1) of the Planning Act as amended and believe that the requested variance meets the 4 tests of the Planning Act for granting the minor variance. Staff recommend approval of the requested variance subject to the conditions outlined in Appendix A attached to the staff report. I believe we have the owner, right? So if you could please do me a favor, and if you could please state your name and your address for the record.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Jane Ramos, and my address that I currently live at and are referring to is 196 Crane Street in Aurora.
Thank you very much. Now, do you have a presentation or? Okay, so
yes,
please.
Chair.
Thank you. Now, did you have an actual presentation you wanted to see, or you'll just?
Yes, Peter will be bringing it up for me. I've submitted it earlier.
Fantastic, thank you. And while we're waiting for the presentation for this application, we also have received 1 correspondence in support of the application and 6 letters in opposition.
Thank you, Peter. Madam Chair, I'd like to present our application MV 2025-07, but applied on behalf of myself, my husband, Marcio Ramos. Peter, next slide. To give a bit of a background on us, we've lived in Aurora since 2007 and in this particular home and address since 2015 when the home was built. We are both professionals working within the community. Myself, I'm a banker, and my husband is a limited engineering technologist, and our daughters attend school in Aurora and are competitive dancers within a dance school in Aurora. Next slide, kindly. Our commitment to the community and to the policies and procedures that are set out by the town of Aurora are very important to us. At any time that we've done anything on our property, we have committed ourselves to permits and followed all rules of the law in regards to that. Same being with this intended use of intended business. Peter? Next slide, kindly. So to give you a bit of background and to rest assured of the Committee of Adjustments that we have covered all aspects of any sort of opposition or concern or any parts of the application, I wanted to outline the qualifications in the affiliate license. We have, our daughter is a certified lifeguard with standard first aid with CPRC, certified life-saving and swim instructor, and granted affiliate license with the Life Saving Society to teach and award the preschool Swim for Life and life-saving courses. She's very extensively trained. And part of her lifeguard training is that she is able to ensure that everything is kept safe, including the water quality and the experience of anyone attending the swim school. There is evidence of all her badges and her certification and the email and her affiliate account with the Life Saving Society. Peter, next slide, kindly. Attached, you'll find a letter from our insurance broker that shows that we have arranged for full liability insurance for the cause of this swim school, and it would be in effect until our daughter is graduated from university. This is a full liability insurance. We did purchase extra umbrella insurance, and we take this part of the safety very, very seriously. A full package can be also provided with the outline of the policy. Peter, next slide. So why? This type of business does build business and entrepreneurial skills that are transferable to future goals and university qualification and supplement applications. It allows for earning income while meeting other demands, such as, Academy will be attending asynchronous high school summer school this year and intends to do the same thing next year, which is a reach ahead program so that she can score better on her rigorous advanced placement courses and allow her for time to train for the competitive dance team that she's on. It also contributes to the community by providing important life-saving skills of swimming. Our daughters attended backyard swim schools throughout Aurora for the last 10 years. The accessibility of these courses were tremendous to us as working professionals with our busy lifestyle. Commercially laid out courses weren't always accessible to us due to our hours of availability and the need for many times one-on-one training so that they were even better. We need some more attention to make sure that their skill was mastered. So we would love to contribute that to the community at the same time. If I can go to the next slide. So what does this business look like? It's going to offer private or semi-private classes. The likelihood of semi-private classes is fairly slim, because a person or a set of children that are in semi-private classes would have to be almost in the same level to be in a semi-private class. So for the majority of classes, they will be private. So instructor, student. The classes that we're looking to offer, which would create the most minimal distraction or noise or whatnot, is preschool and swim for life courses level 1 to 6. For anyone that's not familiar with these classes don't include any sort of life-saving extensive skills that would need, say, a whistle or yelling or music or anything like that. The classes will be held for 30 minutes, but times 8 sessions, scheduled Monday to Thursday. Fridays are only held out for inclement weather. Inclement weather is when there's lightning or thunder. Classes run rain or shine. So Fridays would only run if there was inclement weather Monday to Thursday. The hours of business would be in line with regular business hours, 9 to 6, which would allow for families that have limited availability to provide swimming lessons for their children. As was important to me, my children were always in that 5 to 6 p.m. range, as my husband and I were both working Monday to Friday. The clients will be fully registered and will sign a waiver of liability that is standard in all swim schools, backyard swim schools. Peter, next slide. This is our backyard. Okay, as you can see, I know there's a lot of discussion in some of the opposition around the investment that was placed in the backyard. We also paid $125,000 for that view, spent $155,000 on this backyard. We take it very seriously, and we take our contribution to the community and the cleanliness and the integrity and of the community very, very seriously. Next slide. So I would like to address the concerns from the letters of opposition, Madam Chair. The claims of noise and frequent visitors. I understand that there was comments in regards to us having frequent visitors. Logistically, that's not the case. My husband and I work Monday to Friday. I work many times Saturdays, as I am a banker, 45 to 55 hours a week. It came as a very big surprise to me. There is no record of any bylaw complaints or anything to that nature. And I do have a letter of support from my direct neighbor. So this did come for a surprise, and I would say contrary to that fact. The swim school, as I explained in the nature of the business plan, it has very minimal noise that would be not similar to the same thing as, my two children being out in the pool, or myself and my child, or myself and my husband out in the pool. The hours of business in our plan, regular working hours is what we're outlining, and the number of children in the pool, including instructor, would be 3. So including a parent or guardian that would be there, there'd be no more than 4 or 5 people in the backyard, similar to a typical family size as outlined in the staff's report. Due to the age of the children and the nature of private or semi-private classes, the noises would be very minimal, as I had outlined before in the business plan. Parking, as noted in the report, we do not have a sidewalk, and we have a 4-car parking driveway. And comfortably 4 cars. And in fact, we also have 2 garage spaces. So we don't anticipate a single person parking on the street. Noise from the pool equipment. This took me by surprise. The pool was only built in 2018. And for anyone that's familiar with the pool, the equipment does not last. So the equipment is very, very new. The pump was replaced 2 years ago with a high-end 2-stage pump, which means it's fairly quiet. The chlorinator was replaced last year, and the pool heater, of course, needs to replace this year because every year we need to replace something. These are not old and noisy machines. They are, and at the far end of the yard. They were installed there away from the homes. We've never had a complaint about noise from the pool equipment. The pool equipment, even if it runs 24/7, like it's that's how the nature of the pool. So running a swim school or not running a swim school, being here swimming or not swimming, the equipment is running nonetheless. There were some late added oppositions that talked about chemicals being flowed back out into the environment. The pool does not flow into the environment or into the forest behind us. In regards to the safety of the chemicals and the levels, this is a saltwater pool. The chlorinator takes salt and turns it into chlorine, so there's very minimal chemicals. In lifeguard training that my daughter has, they are trained on checking the pH levels and ensuring that the water is safe for everybody, and the procedures and policies around measuring water and the quality. All right, next slide. And this is my final one. Oh, I think that was it. Okay. So I did receive, as I said, the supporting letter, and then I received, so I received 2 letters, that would be the closest to the property. I just want to note that I did communicate with both closest neighbors. I was taken by surprise. There was opposition because there wasn't any sort of opposition explained to me in the communication. I do feel that in some of these oppositions, they were canvassed, as I did hear from some neighbors that they were being canvassed to oppose the application. That's my presentation. I've read the staff's report. I do agree with it, and I'm open to any questions.
Thank you very much for that. Do we have any questions from any of the committee members? Claudia.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. Just wondering, in terms of your operations, you noted that the lessons would be 30-minute increments. Do you give some spacing in between those, or are they just back to back? Just referring back to parking, like I can see that transition. If it's 30 minutes, 4 of them, 5 of them back to back, there could be some overlap by the time some students change and all of that. So any thoughts around that?
Thank you. Madam Chair, I'd like to reply. Because we have a double car garage, they can actually park side by side. So I don't anticipate there being more than a 2-car when they overlap.
Okay, so they are back to back though.
They are back to back, yes.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions from any of the committee members? Marcelo, and then Michael.
Yeah, thank you. Through you, Madam Chair. Question regarding access to the backyard is, I wasn't, when I looked at the property, I couldn't see a defined path to get to the backyard. I did see some, gravel. I wasn't sure if that's a specific entrance or if there's a different entrance that I just didn't see.
So that is the specific entrance. Both sides are gravel, but they are both self-latching permitted doors as per our pool permit. So the main side entrance that we would like to use that has the most space is on our west side.
Okay, and is there any consideration for any additional pavers? Just because we've been to quite a few swim schools, and we know if it's a little bit of rain, that can get pretty slippery, but that's aside from everything, just an observation on my part.
Yes.
Yeah, that I just wanted to make sure if there's other places that have like a different access that's through the house, and I wasn't sure. I just wanted to get that clarified.
Through Madam Chair, I'd like to answer that question. We do have access through the house if needed. If we ever felt that was a concern or a safety or liability issue, there's absolutely access through the house.
Thank you.
And Michael, I believe you had a question as well.
Through you, Madam Chair, that was an excellent presentation. I did read the staff report. You're very thorough in your presentation, by the way. My question, I guess, is related to the change room facilities. Where would your guests or your students change, and are there bathroom facilities available to them? Is the pavilion enclosed? Is that where the changing is going to be, or?
Through Madam Chair, I'd like to answer that question. Thank you for that question. So in my experience as a parent that's taking my children through these types of backyard swim schools, we always come changed and then we dry off and we go back home. However, through our permitted finished basement, we do have a full bathroom and shower if there's a reason that we feel that the children would need to take a shower, say if they had an accident or anything. And they do have access to that through the basement, which has access to the backyard as cited in our drawings.
Yeah, I do have experience with my grandchildren taking things that way, and it's happened that
Yes.
they need to use the bathroom or they need to change or something happens, right?
Yes, so absolutely.
Thank you for that answer.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other questions? Okay, seeing none. Is there someone who is willing to move a motion?
Through you, Madam Chair, is there anybody here in opposition? Did we ask that? Or?
Correct, sorry, by mistake. So Peter, if you can please confirm if there's any deputations or delegates for this application.
Through you, Madam Chair, there are no public delegations for this application.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Michael. So if someone can put a motion. John?
I'd like to move the approval of MV 202507 at 196 Crane Street to permit the application to go forward, subject to the conditions in Section A of the staff report.
Thank you very much. And do I have a seconder? Thank you, Marcella. All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, so now our last item on tonight's agenda, which is a minor variance application, and it's Ashraf Zalul at 75 Watkins Glen Crescent, file MV 2025-05. The owner applicant is requesting relief from the requirements of the town's comprehensive zoning bylaw 6000-17 as amended to facilitate a widened driveway. The following relief is being requested. Section 5.6 subsection 1 of the zoning bylaw allows a maximum driveway width of 3.5 meters if the lot frontage is less than 9 meters. The applicant is proposing a maximum driveway width of 6 meters. And planning staff have reviewed the application regarding section 45, Section 45(1) of the Planning Act as amended, and believe that the requested variances meet the 4 tests of the Planning Act for granting the minor variance. Staff are recommending approval of the requested variance subject to the conditions outlined in Appendix A attached to this report. Now, in this case, we have received 1 letter of opposition, and I believe the owner is here. Hi, if you could please state your name and your address for the record.
Through you, Madam Chair, my name is Ashraf Zaghloul, and I reside in 75 Watkins Glen Crescent.
Thank you very much. Now, do you also have, so it's just you representing. Now, do you have a presentation or anything for the committee members, or did you have something you wanted to say?
I have just, a couple of comments I want to present myself, and there's going to be a couple of photos that I will ask Peter during my time to present to the committee.
Okay.
May I start?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to start by thanking you, Madam Chair, and the committee for allowing this time for me to present my case, and definitely a big thanks to the Town of Aurora staff that I was privileged to communicate with and deal with over the process of this application. The purpose of my application is the desired extension of the existing driveway. Our family has grown, not in number, but my kids, which are no longer kids now, they're 24 and 22. They started their new chapter in life where they now work, and they require the way of commuting to their work. So they share their own vehicle now, which required a third parking spot in our residency. Hence the requirement for the extended driveway. I'm of the understanding the town of Aurora allows the neighborhoods to be enhanced and to evolve over time, which basically I believe that we were in need of this enhancement since our family has evolved. Peter, if you can just scroll through the photos, if you don't mind, please, that I've shared. Thank you. So I've gone through the opposition letter from my respected neighbor, and I'm willing and gladly will answer and clarify any concern that there may be. I know the main concern, Peter, if you can scroll through the photos, please, I would very much appreciate it. Thank you. Was the truck that I have, which is usually parked in the extended driveway. Just a quick update. This truck, I've actually requested its return. It's a company truck, not personal. So it's going to be returned to my company end of April. So the main concern of having a large vehicle parked on that extended driveway is no longer going to be there. No plan yet on getting a replacement small car, but this car is going back to my company. And if the replacement is going to be there, it's going to be a much smaller one. No more trucks. Just one last point I wanted to highlight. We have good relations with all our neighbors. Our opposing neighbor, we have a good relation with. It was unfortunate that the concerns were never shared with us. And the note that we received on our door was during a time that we were out of the country. If it was another circumstance and we were there, definitely any concern that was there would be resolved jointly, making sure that us and our respected neighbor will have no concerns over this extended driveway. It's just a matter of being unfortunate that we were out of the country during that time. And when we came back, we were surprised with the Christian, the officer who came to our house and presented us with the complaint. So that's basically what I have. I'm willing to answer any questions the committee and Madam Chair you might have. for any concern that is arising from this application. Thank you.
Do any of the committee members have any questions for the owner? Okay. Oh, sorry.
Sorry to jump in, Madam Chair. We do have public delegations for this application.
Right. So did you want me, I wasn't sure if you wanted me to first listen to the delegations and then take questions. Or did you want the questions directed to the owner first and then I could hear the two delegations?
Sorry, Madam Chair. That'll be up to you.
Okay, so I think if there's any questions for the owner, we can deal with those questions right now. So I'll start with John. I believe Claudia, you also had your hand up, and then Michael.
Just a point of order, Madam Chair. I think it'd be appropriate to hear the delegation first. But the committee, I don't know. I don't know what the rest of the committee would like, but I think we should hear the delegation that's coming.
The delegations first? Sure.
But, I mean, I'll leave it open to the committee to decide until.
Okay. Great, we will do that. So we do have two delegates here this evening. I will ask Maggie Silveria, and I apologize if I haven't said your name correctly. If you could address.
Hello, Madam Chair.
Hi, and as I indicated, you are permitted 5 minutes to address the committee.
Okay, well, I have some questions and some of them are by law because of distance. And, you know, my neighbor has been backing in, and because it's such a large vehicle, it is difficult and it gets very close to my home, which I said on a formal survey you might see is very close. From the photos you could see. My question to you, Madam Chair and committee members, and thank you for hearing me, is there a bylaw for Aurora regarding cars and gas lines and specific, like a distance? Because my neighbor does have a gas line right in front directly where he's parking, and I do too, which is also not that far away. So that's my first question.
Okay, maybe if you want to, well, I'll let staff know. And actually, sorry, Maggie, if I could please get you to state your name and address for the record.
It was in the letter. My name is, technically it's Margaret Silvera legally, and it's a townhouse complex, as you can see from the picture, and our properties are joined. And as I said, I was concerned and I have spoken, as my neighbor has been backing in. When he backs in, it gets very close to my property that comes forward. I have cedars there, and as you can see from the photo, the problem is he actually parks over the parking pad very close, and you can see from that picture the grass, you know, becomes a little ruined actually. And the tree in front of his property is dead. And, you know, he does have a third parking spot, which I outlined in my letter. So if that's what he's concerned about, he has a garage. So I am concerned because when you build a shed, you have to be 16 or 18 inches from a fence, and a shed doesn't move. A car, which is moving and reversing almost into my house, it is moving, and I'm very concerned. And all this time, he could have parked the smaller vehicle, which I asked, and he hasn't. So I'm a little concerned because it is quite a large vehicle, and I don't know what will, you know, if in fact he will get another vehicle, which vehicle he will in fact park there, because he has not parked the other vehicles, maybe once or twice. And then again, we get snow, we get ice, he's backing in. I am concerned, you know, so I want to know about this gas line meter. I want to know with a concrete post, because I've seen gas lines before and there are concrete posts to protect the gas lines. So I don't know, these answers. And yeah, and if there is snow as we had, where will he put it? And then I want to know, why are they not parking the third car that they require in their garage? Because there is one available. And it is a townhouse property. So my property, the subject lands, I should have consultation. And what are my rights? Like, I understand he has the right to a variance, but my property is joined. And you can see from those pictures he had that there is mud beyond his parking pad because his tires go there, which is literally less than a foot. So again, I'm concerned. We talk about rights and sharing land and my concerns have not, I don't know. Do you have, Madam Chair and committee members, some answers for my questions, please?
Sure. So before I ask staff, I know that you had indicated that your address was outlined in your letter, but just
I apologize.
That's okay. If you could just state it for the record, that I'd appreciate that.
Yes, Madam Chair. Again, my name is Margaret Silvera. It's Margot with an O, Margaret Silvera, and the address is 79 Watkins Glen Crescent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I will ask staff if they could address the questions. Thank you.
Through you, Madam Chair, I can address some of those questions. So in terms of the property line boundaries, when the applicant made a formal submission for a minor variance, it did go through a preliminary zoning review, and a minor variance would have to be within the property boundaries of the applicant. So it couldn't go past his limits of the property line. So we can confirm that the parking pad is within the property boundaries. Whether he goes over onto the grass, that's not a matter that I could speak to or address. That's a civil matter between two neighbors. But in terms of the parking pad itself, that's within his property boundaries. The application was deferred at the last meeting date, specifically from town staff obtaining comments from Central York Fire Services to ensure that the parking pad and the vehicle being parked on the pad is safe in case of an emergency. They signed off on the application. We had our operations department review the application as well, and there were no concerns in terms of issues relating to the gas meter. Our zoning bylaw cites property boundary setbacks for buildings. It doesn't specifically get into required setbacks for gas lines and meters, but that was reviewed by our operations department, and they signed off on the application with no comments.
Thank you, Antonio, very much for addressing those questions. Are there any questions? I know that there were some questions from the committee specifically to Maggie's deputation. And if not, then I'll move on to the second deputant. Okay. So our second deputant is Lauren Pike. If I could please have you state your name and address for the record. And as mentioned, you're provided with 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you. My name is Lauren Pike. I live at 71 Watkins Glen Crescent. So we share the driveway. We're on the other side of the property in question.
Okay, thank you.
As a qualifying remark, my apologies for fighting a cold. I'll try not to be too disturbing. So we're the neighbors sharing the driveway, as I mentioned, with Ash and Samar. Wonderful people. We've had no issue at all with either party involved or with the proposed development. We approached Ash and Samar when we saw the town's notice on the lawn, just to let them know we'd be happy to support them in the application. For the record, we have no application, or we have no issues at all with their application or with the variance. And we've never heard of any negative comments from any neighbor other than Maggie. We spend considerable time out front in the driveway, chatting with people, chatting with neighbors. We did hear from one neighbor pretty much across the street, straight across the street from the property. And she said they were fully in support of it as well. They just did not feel it was an issue. They had no problem with it. We just don't feel that it's unsafe or that it diminishes the the look of the neighborhood or that it sets any precedent. I was driving last night, and as I was thinking about this happening tonight, I just started looking side to side. I counted 5, maybe 6 other properties on the street that seemed to me to have similar extensions in their driveways. Now, obviously, I didn't get out and measure them. You know, I don't know the details or the history of how they ended up there. But to me, they looked pretty similar. So this just didn't seem to be a precedent or anything out of keeping with what, well, to me, looked to be the norm in the neighborhood. As for our own property, we're right next. We're with a asphalt surface joining both. So there's no separation in the driveways. We have just a cinder block wall separating our 2 garages. And on our side, we've commented several times that our garage, which is from what we can see the same size as Ash's, it's great for storage, but it just looks completely impractical for parking a vehicle. We've got 2 small or mid-sized SUVs, a Ford Escape and a Hyundai Tucson, and the garage is very narrow. We've never tried to park a vehicle in there, and I can't imagine we ever would. We use it for storage, of course, but we think it would be a real challenge to get in and out and to practically use a vehicle in that garage. So my wife and I actually, we mused a couple of times whether or not we would consider getting a similar extension on our driveway, even with just the 2 vehicles, since of course it's a bit of a nuisance to, if you wanted to get the car that's closest to the house, to, you know, move back and forth, even with just 2 vehicles. So we even talked a couple of times about whether or not we should consider it for our property. Interesting enough, I shoveled the snow for Ashton Samar several times over the winter. I'm from Newfoundland. I don't mind the snow. It reminds me of home. And that week when we had, I think I heard someone say it was the most snow Toronto had seen in 1 week in 80 years. And to me, it didn't seem like much at all. But I was out there and cleared all our driveway, cleared all theirs. And I was the one who threw the snow up on their lawn. And it just wasn't a problem. It was up about shoulder high. It was a good workout, but no more so on their lawn than on ours. It's kind of a, I don't know if I call it a Y shape or a U shape. The extension doesn't go right down to the street. You know, there's a tree in front, which I never realized until tonight was dead. But anyway, there's a nice big tree up front, and the driveway kind of comes in around that. So there's lots of room around the tree to throw that snow, to throw it over the lawn. And there was ample room in front of the truck and around the truck to shovel, and it just wasn't an issue. So if it wasn't for that snowfall, I can't imagine it's likely to be for at least another 80 years. And in summary, we share that driveway area. We would be one of the neighbors most affected by the parking or by the variance. Based upon what we've heard from neighbors across the street, from our own direct experience, we have no objections at all. We don't see it as a precedent of any sort because it seems to already be a fairly popular feature in the homes in the area. We don't see it having any negative impact on the character or the appeal of the neighborhood. We, for the record, being the neighbors closest to the driveway, have no issue with it whatsoever, and we see no challenge for the variance.
Thank you very much, Lauren, for that. Are there any questions from the committee members for Lauren or John?
I just had one to the applicant. Ash, you mentioned that you're getting a smaller vehicle sometime in the spring. Did I hear that correctly?
Through you, Madam Chair, you are correct. The truck is being taken away by my company, and I'm yet to plan the replacement. And I can't afford a truck, and I don't need a truck. It was a company-provided vehicle.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other, Michael?
Through you, Madam Chair. Just a question for Mr. Ashraf, is it? I noticed in the pictures that, you know, and this is I guess a question of rainwater and permeability of surfaces. So basically you've got your driveway and then you had grass where the water runoff off the driveway, and when it rains, your eaves trough flows into that. Is there any consideration when you did the layout of the driveway to have the water draining to the street as opposed to draining into the grass area of your neighbor who filed the complaint? Because I noticed the grassy area wasn't really grassy. It was like muddy, you know, like I can understand that your neighbor to your, I guess, to the lady that had the presentation, where if they have children, it may be muddy there in front of her entrance. Is there a possibility that you would entertain putting grass there and or seeding it so that it would be more permeable, lacking the, you know, the fact that you did, you know, take away grass for the parking? Is that a possibility?
Through you, Madam Chair, thanks for the comment. There is a small area next to the drive pad, like you said, that has lost some grass, which the plan is, I mean, we're through winter and the cold weather, the grass is just yet coming back up. So this will be seeded exactly like you mentioned. And in terms to grading and drainage, it's all goes through the main driveway, so it drains to the driveway. And there is no concern of overflow of water, whether to actually because I have around 1 meter of grass before the property starts from my respected neighbor. So the water actually flows towards the driveway, not the other way around.
Okay, and the question for Mr. Pike, I guess, is, are you having any issues with the water overflowing from your neighbor's driveway as a result of this parking pack? Because, you know, it's understandable. I read the staff report. Everything's in order. The staff did a, you know, good recommendation here. But I can understand in small, tight spaces where heavy rain or anything, and if the grading is incorrect, then your neighbor gets affected. Have you had any issues with overflow of water?
There's a drain pipe that comes down from the ceiling, and I believe that's Ash's drain pipe, and it comes right down between the two properties. So that drain pipe runs out. Not an issue for us, except when the rain freezes. It makes it very slick. So in the middle of the driveway, we've got that ice patch all the time. I don't see that being affected by this particular variance in any way, because it's straight from the ceiling. It's on our side of the driveway as opposed to the side where the variance is. That's the only issue we've ever had with any kind of runoff or rainwater on the property.
Okay, thank you for that. I mean, as a recommendation, you know, I've been on committee. I've heard applications like this before, and some of the issues are related to water drainage and so forth. So if Mr. Ashraf can, you know, entertain maybe seeding that area and having grass, which absorbs water, causing your neighbor less, you know, stress when it's muddy or something, I think that would be appropriate, because good neighbors make good neighborhoods. Thank you.
I fully agree.
Thank you, Michael. Are there any other questions from the committee? Claudia.
Through you, Madam Chair, I have a question for the applicant Ashraf. So I was able to drive by the property, and it looks like the driveway interlocking is sort of installed very close to the roots of the tree currently in place. And now Mr. Lauren mentions that the tree might be dead. So what's the plan for that? Is that going to be kept? How is that tree affected by this driveway?
Through you, Madam Chair, I think Lauren's comment was from a comment he heard from our respected neighbor Maggie. It wasn't his comment. It was just a repetition of what was said. The tree is perfectly healthy. It was actually inspected by the Parks Department. There is no issue with the tree. 100%. There is no intention of removal of the tree. It actually adds beauty to our house and to the neighborhood. It's in good health, and we haven't had any trouble with the tree, its existence or health.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, no further questions. If there's anyone who would like to put forward a motion.
Madam Chair, just another point of order. Is there anybody else wanting to speak to this application from the community, or did I get everybody?
I believe it was just the two deputants, but I will ask Peter to confirm that in case somebody else has put in a request while this has been going on, but my understanding it was only the two.
Through you, Madam Chair, the two public delegations that have been heard tonight are the only public delegations for this application.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you for confirming.
May I ask a follow-up question?
Well,
Regarding the drainage as it comes onto my property, because there's no weeping tile. I was wondering about the weeping tile, and the question I had regarding how far a motorized vehicle must be from a property. Like, there's not a meter between the parking pad and our property line.
right. Now, as the staff indicated to you, this report was circulated to the various departments, and one of those departments included Operations Public Works, and they have no objection. So if there would have been concerns, they would have stated that. So in the report, it shows that it was circulated to them and there was no objections from that department.
Thank you, Madam Chair, committee members.
You're very welcome. So does someone have a motion to put forward? John?
I would move to approve the application for MV 202505 at 75 Watkins Glen Crescent, permitting the driveway, subject to any questions or queries that are in the staff report.
Thank you. And can I please have a seconder for that motion? Thank you, Michael. All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much. Okay, so our next item is new business. Do any committee members have any item of new business? Seeing none. And our next item is adjournment. If I could please get a motion. Wait, thank you, Michael. Go ahead.
I move adjournment of this meeting.